The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
It's important to note this is not a therapy session with licensed therapists. The goal here is to create a safe, expressive space where we can explore emotions, ideas, and stories through the act of making art.
I'm here to do, I call it art therapy, but obviously it's, an art project, which I believe is empowering to women. It's a place for us to be able to connect and to work together and to exchange ideas and just kind of explore who we are. So we're here to help contribute to the final piece that will be created based off of this experience by Ishta, and it's exciting. They were looking for a very specific type of woman when they initially created this, so they came to a place where there was certain types of women like me who have had very defined experiences in life. And I decided to join it because we were participants in a domestic violence program. And I personally don't believe that there is enough conversation about what being part of that experience is like. So when I heard that there was a secondary outlet where people could actually have more expression and more feeling and more thought, basically just involving anything else that has to do with domestic violence, I think that the art piece that's going to be created is going to be something that brings more awareness to what a lot of people experience in life, and not just women. I mean, obviously that's not a thing just for women, but we do happen to be a very large subset of the population that goes through that. And anything that I can do to be a part of bringing more awareness to what it's actually like and what the experience is and what the steps are once you're removed from that situation, I want to be a part of it.
This whole process started back in 2020 when I applied for my master's at Konstfack in Sweden, in Stockholm, University of Arts and Design. And I applied with a project similar to this, where I wanted to focus on personal stories and create and facilitate a space where participants could share and work with their own personal stories in order to kind of get perspective and understanding of where they came from, where they are, and where they want to go. And as I applied and I got into the university and got started with this project, I realized quite quickly that I had not really processed my own story. And so I pivoted and I started working with my own personal story and how I could create that into a narrative, visual. I then got the opportunity back in 2022 now. 2022, 2023, I got to go to Mexico and hold a 3-month workshop at a school with a group of 30 kids in Guadalajara. And that's where I started to first really implement the process that I'd gone through with my own book and my own story with this group of children. And they all got to work with their own stories, and especially after COVID, they had a lot of experiences that had become normal to them. Both inspiring and interesting to see how they had gone through those experiences and dealt with them. And the tools that I created and gained during that process are the tools that I've then used when I started doing these workshops. When I got in touch with Mia and Temple Children, I The initial idea was that it was going to be a mural project, and main focus would have been with like children, because that was what I just came from, like the project I'd already done. I knew it worked, I knew I could do it again. And we had a couple of calls back and forth, and it was moving forward. And then before one of our meetings, I just got this intuitive question, or I wanted to ask if it was possible to work with women instead. And if there's any organization in Hilo or the Big Island that we could work with. As I presented that idea, both of us got kind of excited, and then Mia mentioned Santa, and that we could maybe create like a collaboration.
This project came about because Ishtar contacted me through Instagram. We have some mutual friends, and we've been talking for over a year about this project and trying to figure out how we can get her over here to make it happen. This project with the domestic violence survivors, it's called The Place That Hurts and Glitters. It was created by Ishtar, and she feels very passionate about this project because it's allowed her to heal on her journey, her own personal journey. And what I realized in Hilo, we don't really have resources that I know of for therapeutic art. And in our space, the Temple Children's Space, my partner, Christy Cosmides, who's a local artist, she and I always want to provide a safe space for creativity and artistic expression. And so it felt very fitting to be able to offer some type of therapeutic art classes for these women who have undergone domestic violence relationships.
Things took time, but they also started falling into place, and I didn't really know what I was expecting to step into coming here. Everything really fell into place very quickly just before I came here. We didn't know who was gonna attend the workshop. We didn't know how it all would come together, but it did, and it was really beautiful. The dynamic that can be created when you gather a group of women together is so much bigger than what you can kind of try and expect from the beginning. There's so much when you feel safe, when you feel welcome, and when you feel both seen and heard. And you feel like there's this group of women that can hold you in a way. I think we can tap into a deeper sense of vulnerability. And that was very important for this workshop and this project, because through that vulnerability you can go deeper in yourself as well. And if you feel safe in a space, you can do that without holding your guards up.
This is a part of my healing journey. It's been about a good portion of the year that I've been really seeking resources to help on my journey as a DV survivor. My particular experience was more from narcissistic abuse, which has elements of financial and psychological and emotional. Slightly different from some other people's stories, but today I feel like the art therapy that we've been going through lately is just creating a safe space for us to kind of unify, get together, network, and really share our experiences through art and continue our healing. I decided to join the program because it was actually something that was suggested by CFS and our regular DV support group. They offered it as an option if we wanted to participate outside of that class setting. But I decided to join because I love art. It's always been something that's been therapeutic for me growing up. It's kind of been an outlet, but I've lost touch with it, so I never really had an opportunity. And I felt this time last year and in the years prior that I was experiencing abuse, I felt like there was no connection to myself, and art has always been that connecting factor. And so when this opportunity came up, I really wanted to take it and see how it could help in my journey, and I'm glad I did.
The most core intention in this is that I want every person that participates to feel seen and heard, and that they feel that their story matters.
My experience with this program, it's been one that started off kind of turbulent just because it was hard for me to approach my safe space of creating art with the knowledge that it was specifically for victims of domestic violence. But now I see that it's been a journey actually, and it's helped me to reclaim my capacity to create from all different kinds of places within myself, right? Including being a survivor of domestic violence.
I've seen changes in myself since starting art therapy because I feel like I'm getting a hold of myself in a better sense. And through my obstacles, I kind of lost touch of myself and who I was. And now through art therapy, I finally am able to like slowly find myself again and decide on, you know, what I want in life and how I see myself moving forward.
What I thought this was going to be like and what it's turned out to be so far is not even close to the same. And it's been a really wonderful experience in the 4 weeks I think I've been a participant of it. So it's never what you think it's going to be. And having that connection with other women and just being able to talk to them in a realm where you remember that you're a woman, you know, you remember you're a person, you remember that you're not defined by this one set of experiences in your life. And that has been amazing for me.
My experience with this DV art therapy has been peaceful. It's definitely offered a space of peace. It's been warm. I definitely appreciate Ishtar's instruction. It's been very meditative. Again, healing. I feel like there's a calmness to the environment. The energy is good, and I'm a big energy person, so I feel like I made the right choice joining. But yeah, I would say if I had to describe it, those would be some keywords. And also I feel an element of patience. We are all going through our own life healing and life journeys. And I do feel like there is a instruction of patience in this class. So yeah.
From day one, all of the women in the group are just so inspiring and incredible human beings. You know, it could be your sister, it could be your friend, it could be someone you work with. Anyone can find themselves in one of these situations of abuse. And so it hit me deeply from the first session with them, because they were also open to share and also open to connect with themselves, and that also allowed me to connect with myself in a deeper way. And so I just feel nothing but gratitude for this project.
I know that before every session, when I wake up in the morning, I meditate and I tap into my intention. And it's been that same strong intention every time that I want everybody who takes part of this today to feel seen and heard. And not only like as a person that I feel like I get the space, but as that version of ourselves from when we were kids. You know, when you're a kid and you step into a room and you can feel that somebody sees you just as you are. No expectations, just you. That's the feeling I wanted to tap into. I wanted all of them to feel seen and heard and loved, and no focus at all on accomplishment or proving anything. And I think starting out with that intention of just feeling like you're wanted, that was my way to get into this, like my way to approach this whole workshop.
The other women in class, in art therapy, it's really nice to connect with them and to know that, you know, I'm not the only one in a difficult situation, and there's other people who are going through similar obstacles in their life right now, and for us to all get together, share our stories, and create something positive in art class. It's a really good connection knowing that you're not the only one out there.
Namely, my relationship with my daughter, and looking at it from the perspective of what art can be for both of us. Like myself, she's very creative. She loves singing and dancing and drawing, and I realize how important that is for kids, especially growing up. That was my safe space from when I was really young, and being able to see different ways that I can pull from what Ishtar has done to help us meditate and set ourselves in a different space before each session. That's definitely something that I'm taking more into my parenting.
Art being, I don't know why, but the expression like gathering place is kind of coming to mind. Right now I'm looking at the ladies, you know, continuing with their art and speaking, talking to one another. That sense of community and communication has been something that's opened up in my household. I have children, I have 2 older children, and one of them really loves to draw and sketch, and she's actually really good. And I notice the more I speak about this class and my healing processes, it's kind of inspired, I would like to say, it's kind of inspired a peace of mind for her to continue with her art and to just be able to sit and communicate whatever she's feeling through her own art. So, yeah.
It's kind of like a spiritual awakening, almost in an essence for me. Tapping into your creative self, I found has been really helpful to remind me of different pieces of myself, if that makes any sense. Like, I started doing a little more meditation, which is something that I hadn't been doing previously. It's really helped me access roots of how things come about the way that they are, how you end up in certain situations in life based off of things you experienced when you were younger. I was very nervous when I first started all of it because I didn't know what it was going to be like. I felt very closed off because I personally had not been like out interacting with people in the world in quite some time, and especially other women. I've never really been easily able to connect with other women. I get to see little pieces of myself in every single one of these people that I interact with, and it helps remind you that you're not by yourself. It's not just you, and we are all connected, you know, we are all together. So I've been able to tap into that for myself, and it's been really wonderful.
The final piece is something that I didn't even know what it was going to be until like halfway through the workshops. I just kept coming back to this theme of water and relaxing and just like surrendering. And we've also been very lucky to be down at Dock Hills, just in front of the water, and just having that like amazing environment around when we've been painting and yeah, sharing time and talking story. And the colors, like everything kind of came to me in an instant almost, like from not having any idea until one point where everything came together. And I was like, okay, I want to paint this scene where I want 6 or 7 women, like each woman floating in the water. And the energy and the vibe is like very harmonious and still and quiet. Each of them have like space around them so that they can feel that they're in their own space, but they're also together. You know, everybody's been working on their own thing, but we've done it together. So this is like the visual representation of that. And then there's gonna be another piece hanging in front of it, a plexiglass, which is transparent. And I'm going to paint different symbols that will represent each woman's process. And so the motive on the plexiglass, I want that to represent their dreams, their stories. Because it's transparent, the plexiglass, I'm hoping that it will project onto the canvas so that there is this like play between their dreams and their stories on top of this like calm piece of them floating around in the water.
You know, I would love to see a permanent type of therapeutic arts program come out of this for anyone who needs it, really. I think that it would be fairly easy to do, and I think that self-expression through art should be prioritized, and that we have a lot of resources for that. You know, it's just a matter of recognizing that this is a good use of those resources. And so I hope that our story can reach people and motivate people, because all it takes really is people coming together to express themselves. And you know, it just takes a few people to make something like this happen, and the lasting effects outweigh you know, the efforts to make it possible. And so it would be incredible to see a permanent program like this in our community, and I would be willing to facilitate that.
I don't know how much this kind of work is around and available. I know that there's a lot of beautiful both opportunities and support that the participants have felt that they can you know, use in order to really like grow and get opportunities to create a beautiful life for themselves. When it comes to the artistic part and offering these kind of workshops or environments where you can come and just create, my hope and intention with this is also maybe to like show that it doesn't take that much to create something like this. And I really wish and hope that there's going to be more opportunities, especially here on the Big Island and in Hilo, for women to come together and create together and just like, you know, focus on self-expression. I just wish and I hope that there's going to be more possibilities for these women to keep creating together, get the opportunity to express themselves and see if that's possible to grow.
I would recommend this option to everyone, not just women who have experienced domestic violence and things of that nature, but I've always been a firm believer in the fact that art is a gateway to pieces of yourselves you can't find in other arenas. Even in my own little way, I've tried to always support the art community. Like up at the cafe that I have all local Big Island artist work hanging up on the walls, and I don't charge people to put up their artwork. I try to help them sell it, you know, just because I think it's such a great thing to have. And a lot of the time with schools and things like that, the first things they want to cut is the art programs and the non-academic type things, but it's a part of who you are. So I think every single person could benefit from tapping into that aspect of themselves, no matter what your background or situation or life type is. Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend it because if I look back at where I was personally last year, I felt alone. I felt like there were no resources available to get out of my situation, let alone, okay, now that I'm out, have a sense of community, sisterhood, therapy. Like I didn't expect to be a part of this experience because I was in such a dark place last year and the years prior. So if the opportunity was a little bit more permanent for someone else who might be experiencing DV, either now or in the future, I think that this art therapy is definitely something that can encourage and empower them and should be considered.
Coming to Hawaii, I had like an intuitive feeling that the people and the place would be receptive to the intention that I had for this program. And it was better than I could have expected even. It was really beautiful, and it's very different to what the project that I've done before as well. Like every place, every culture has a different way of dealing with things. But until now, I don't think I've ever been in an environment that was so receptive and immediately like understood the intention. I am so grateful, so grateful to be able to have had the chance to come here, to do this, to be a part of this, and get to know all these women. I know that, you know, they're survivors, but they're so much more than just survivors. They're leaders. And the work that they're doing with themselves, for their families, just to be able to balance being mothers, women. I'm very touched by all of them, and I'm very proud of all of them. And I'm extremely inspired by just to see them take so much, responsibility over themselves, like to be the best versions of themselves. And to have had the honor to witness that has been a really big gift to me. So I'm really grateful that I've been able to be here and to come and share what I could share. And I'm grateful to Mia, the Temple Children. I'm grateful to Santa and to everybody who made this possible. Mahalo.